Yo, what is up, 47? It's your boy JK47, the king of Universe 47, and today, guys, we are back finally. Dear God, the voice crack. We are back finally with episode 2 of What If Obito Saved Green, or What If Obito Survived. Guys, I have got some crazy ideas with this whole thing lining up. I hope you guys are here for it, like I'm here for it. If you guys are enjoy the series or are going to enjoy today's video, please don't forget to hit a like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of what I've got planned for this what if, and let me know what you guys would think if you were in Obito's position. But without further ado, we are going to kick things off from a different angle this time. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Well, see you guys soon. Now that everything has calmed down, Reen is going to go and rest for the rest of the night. After everything that's happened, nearly dying, Obito coming back, revealing that she's the Three Tails, it was a lot for everybody to take in. It was a lot for her to accept. But it's alright. She's just happy that Obito is back on their team. While Reen leaves, Minato and Kakashi both look at Obito. It was time for some hard questioning, and they didn't want Reen to be around after that whole confession. Obito nodded. Though he really needs to tell her later on, he felt that after that whole confession, what he has to say, he doesn't want to outdo her or outshine her. That was her moment. Kakashi was the first to kind of break down at this moment, finally letting down a bit of his guard. This is shaking Obito and Minato, because normally Kakashi is the one who is always right to it, always held strong, never let his emotions get the better of him. This was rare, extremely rare. Kakashi had balled his fists up, shaking. Tears threatened to fall out of his eyes. He begged to know why. Why did he hide for so long? Where was he? And why didn't he come to them as soon as he could? What happened? Obito wanted to answer. He did. But he stopped. He knew if he told them, terrible things would happen. Minato could see the look of just fear in Obito's eyes. Kakashi and Minato put a hand on his shoulders, saying that no matter what it is, they'd face it together. Obito knew that once he told, Zetsu would also know, considering he's still technically holding on to Toby right now. That's the only reason he's still standing. And he knows once Zetsu finds out, so will he. But he knows now that he can trust everyone. He's willing to take it on, but he's scared. Deep down, Obito knows the threat that is Madara Uchiha. The stories, everything that his parents passed down onto him, thinking it was just a fairy tale, thinking it was just a lie about this legend, this legendary Uchiha that lived in their clan, that fought the first Hokage. That nightmare was real. Though it seemed like a fantasy, though it seemed like a dream to have that much strength, Obito learned the hard truth about Madara. And honestly, he agrees with Hashirama. Obito takes a deep breath before looking them both in the eyes and explaining he doesn't really know how he survived. To be honest, it could have been dumb luck, or it could have been fate. He says they need to talk some more privately. Minato nods before thinking of a great place to go, and also bringing him back to meet somebody kind of important. Very important to him. Minato takes the boys over to his place. And, as if right on cue, flinging open the door was his wife, Kushina. Kushina comes out with a pan, stating that Minato was running late, and so was Kakashi. She was about to scold them both until she looked and saw a familiar face, though rugged and uncut hair and unkept. Tears started forming in her eyes. She rushed past those two and immediately knew it was Obito. She was crying tears of joy. She was so happy to see him. Obito was dumbfounded, didn't know how to react. This was all new to him. Though he always knew Kushina looked at him as like a son or like a nephew, things like that, he never knew that she cared this much. It was heavy. Almost too much to bear. Kushina just held onto him tightly, thanking God that he was alive. She couldn't hold it anymore. She was just so happy. Minato put a hand on her shoulder. Kakashi just sat and watched this whole thing. A little uneasy and a little awkward, but smiled under his mask, happy that Obito was back as well. Finally pulling away from the boy, she was now invigorated and raring to go, pulls them all in and has them all enjoy dinner. Obito looked down at the table, his food. He looked around at both Minato and Kakashi, Kushina, all having a conversation. For the first time in what felt like years, felt like a millennia, Obito could relax. He started feeling safe again. It was almost like nothing ever happened, until a cold feeling runs through his spine, reminding him that something did happen. He takes a deep breath before chowing down, enjoying his food, but slowly feeling that the moment is gone. Kushina cleans up and lets them have their own discussion, still peeking in because she wants in on the conversation too. Minato takes a deep breath, gets lounged, and relaxes. Kakashi sits up against the wall. Obito stays in the same position he was before, just sitting there, silently. Minato breaks the silence. Okay, Obito. Now that you've been fed and met Kushina again, we need to know what's going on. Obito tightens his fist. Kakashi chimes in with this as well, stating that he had mentioned something that he didn't know how he was saved. Obito shook his head, stating he does know, but he couldn't tell them right then and there. He didn't know who was listening. Even now, he doesn't feel like he should tell anything to keep everybody safe. He doesn't want the peace in the leaf to go away, and he doesn't want to bring harm to his sensei, his family, or his friends. Minato reassured him, whatever the issue is, whatever's going on, they can handle it. Obito shook even more violently, stating that this isn't something that even he could handle. He knew how strong his sensei was, but to deal with that? A legend? He knew his sensei was strong, but even he had his doubts against this one. Kakashi stood up, stating that nothing is impossible. Obito proved that himself. And he needs to have more faith in his team, and more faith in their sensei. Obito took a deep breath and reluctantly told them everything, telling them how It was Madara Uchiha that saved him. That name struck a chord throughout the whole house. Even Kushina dropped the dish just listening to it. Minato, though still in his lounge position, was now a bit more alert. Kakashi, he was a whole different story altogether. He started physically shaking. It was weird. Kakashi has never let fear drive him, but that name alone shook him. Obito had to be lying. He wanted Obito to be lying so bad, but he wasn't. Kakashi grabbed him by both shoulders and shook him, begging for him to stop lying and tell him the truth, who saved him, because there's no reason that it's the truth, Kakashi. The man that saved me was Madara Uchiha. And even then, he didn't even really save me. The reason that I would have hoped. This shook them. What did Obito mean? He goes on to say that he wanted Obito to follow in his plans, follow in his footsteps for when he's gone. Exactly what were his footsteps? Obito had mentioned the infinite Suke no Mi. Said that he was going to broadcast his Mangekyo Sharingan onto the moon and put the world in an infinite genjutsu. That alone caused even Minato to stand. Kushina dropped to the floor. A genjutsu at that level? Something that strong? Could Madara even do that? Yes. He had to have been. He went toe to toe with the first Hokage. So something like that doesn't seem out of reach for someone like him. Kakashi fell back onto the ground, feeling despair just for a little bit, just at the thought of it. So, how? How did Obito escape? Obito relents, but decides to tell them even that truth. To be honest with him, he didn't. What had happened was, he had a little bit of help from somebody, or in this case, something. Obito derobes and shows the white skin that had grown into a part of his body. This shook them all to the core. What was this? Obito goes on to say that this is White Zetsu. It's what he used, what Madara had helped him use to reforge the parts of his body that were crushed by the boulder. Kakashi just shook his head. Tears once again forming in his eyes. This was the fate of his friend? Of his comrade? He wished this upon nobody. Especially somebody like Obito. Kushina saw this herself. Tears formed in her eyes. She cried. Because this boy right here was like her son. The son she had never knew that she had wanted or needed. Minato could only feel upset with himself for not being there that day. Had he had been there, that whole mission would have played out differently. But he was attending to something else and there wasn't anything that he could do. Obito relents, saying that it's not their fault. The only reason that he was able to get out to them was actually thanks to Zetsu, or at least Toby, the part of him that kind of helped him take out those other ninja. Kakashi was surprised, wondering where that power came from. So that's what had helped him. Obito had nodded, asking Toby to come out and introduce himself, but he never did. This caught him off guard. He tries to get his attention once more, but instead is met with something else. Saying that you think that you can just come back to your old life and mess up our plans? Everybody fell silent. Toby immediately starts detaching himself from his body. This puts everybody on alert. Minato instantly grabs his kunai, and Kakashi grabs his sword. Obito steps back, but is weakened severely. Toby stands there, now fully and completely realized, stating that Lord Madara isn't going to be pleased with you. You told them our little secret. Now what are we going to do about it? Obito immediately tries to speak, but there's a sharp pain. He looks to where his arm was, and it's back to where it was way long before. His muscles deformed, his leg as well, almost as if everything was shriveled. The center of his body, his ribs are showing. He screams in immense pain. Toby just sits there, laughing for a bit. You should have listened to us. Then you wouldn't be in so much pain. Toby runs off, but before he goes all the way, he says, "We'll be back. There are multiple other candidates here, and there are other Uchiha willing to help the cause." With that cryptic message, he runs off into the night. Obito just staggers in pain, hardly able to get another word out, screaming, wanting this pain to stop. He eventually passes out due to the mass amount of pain he was feeling, and the amount of guilt too. Slight guilt. He knew this was his fault, but he was now physically unable to do anything. Minato rushes Obito to the nearest hospital, and they look over him. That night, the doctors told Minato that there isn't much that they can do for him in this state. Whatever that thing is that's right attached to him, it's keeping him alive, but there really isn't much that they can do. Not unless they find somebody who's able to completely mend these parts and give them different cells. Minato takes a deep breath. He understands. He goes out to Kakashi and tells him that there isn't much that they can do. Not with what they're given. Kakashi takes a deep breath. He doesn't want to lose Obito. There has to be another way. Just then, Rin comes up to them, wondering what's going on. She had heard from Kushina that Obito was in the hospital. She wanted to know what happened and wanted to know then and there. Kakashi said that he'll fill them in later. Minato paces back and forth, trying to figure out what to do. Before, a surprise visitor comes. It's Jiraiya. It is very rare that Jiraiya comes to visit Minato nowadays, considering his student has far surpassed him. The only thing that Minato doesn't know now is Sage Mode. Minato, though happy to see his master, tells him that this isn't the greatest of times. Kakashi looks at Jiraiya and is surprised to see him, but it is also a rare occasion that he ever does. Rin, on the other hand, has seen Jiraiya on multiple occasions and wishes that the pervert would go somewhere else and take his research with him. Jiraiya looks at Minato and asks what's going on. Minato quickly gives Jiraiya the rundown. He takes a deep breath and understands what the problem is now. There is one way that they can help the kid, but it's dicey. And even he doesn't know if she'll listen. Kakashi and Rin looked at each other, confused about who he was mentioning. Minato scratched his head. You don't mean... I'm afraid I do. We're gonna have to ask Tsunade for help. This catches Rin and Kakashi off guard as well, Minato utterly feeling defeated. Kakashi looks at them both and he's stating and asking, are they going to go find Lady Tsunade? Jiraiya nods with a nice smile on his face. Minato kind of just looks at him like, don't get his hopes up. Jiraiya states that he knows exactly where Tsunade is, and if they catch her, they'll be able to stop her before she leaves. Minato, finally hopeful, nods and agrees that they should go. Right as they're about to head out, Minato decides to make one more quick stop home and let Kushina know that he's heading out. Kushina is already in her gear. She doesn't want anything to go south, so she said she's tagging along. Minato, though hesitant, understands and knows better than to talk back to his wife at this point. He nods, and with that, a quick team of Jiraiya, Minato, Kakashi, Rin, and Kushina set out to go and retrieve Tsunade. And that's gonna be it for part 2. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This one was longer than intended, but there was a lot going on, and I wanted to get out as much as possible. I am enjoying this story just as much as I am enjoying doing Hikari, and I cannot wait to get this next part out. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, guys, I'll see you in part 3. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Later.